It's me, Sasha the Joint Doctor. It's me, Sasha the Joint Doctor. It's just funny talking to the computer, but it means that we'll be starting from scratch and making history with a whole new brand. I need to calm down. Okay, growing. I'm excited. I'm excited about it. Hi, Dzagi people. Greetings. It's me, Sasha the Joint Doctor, and I'm here to start growing. And you want to join me. Are you ready to be not only a grower, but also a breeder? Okay, as you may know, these days we're launching a brand new seed bank called Doctor's Choice. And it means that we'll be starting from scratch, from zero, and making history with a whole new brand. And we want to try and do this together with you, the grower. I just want to remind you that here on the Dzagi forum, for several months already, my colleagues and I have been doing a few things. We've been sharing our seeds with active and enthusiastic forum members and sending promotional bonus seeds through our affiliated retail seed shops. And we're paying attention to all your feedback, so please feel free to give us your opinion. We invite you, the grower, to take an active role in our new venture. So I'll be keeping a personal eye on you. Now, okay, so we came up with an awesome idea. Now let us know what you think. This autumn, at the end of the season, I'm going to choose one grower among all the best of you growers to hang out with us, myself. Somehow we'll get together and have a real Rasta chill session. How does that sound? So how will it work? Just keep following the news and be the first to catch the info. We'll be publishing more information soon. So that's great news, right? So just please don't stop posting. We need more of your reports, photos, reviews, comments, and so on. Okay, and the last thing before I answer your questions, okay, so my old personal website, jointdoctordirect.com, hasn't really been updated for a while, but soon I'll be upgrading all the information and links for the new Doctor's Choice seed bank. At the same time, we're working on an absolutely new website, jointdoctorchoice.com, that will contain all the information about the seed bank, our complete and updated catalog, and online seed shop. We will be sending our seeds everywhere where they're legal. And let's start with the questions. Okay, now, question number 1. Do you miss your DJing time? Do you play somewhere sometimes? Yeah, I do still occasionally play at parties, at friends' parties, but yeah, I miss the time when I was more of a active working DJ. And we had a Saturday night, a reggae night, every Saturday in a club. It was one of the best, my best memories. But the thing about music is you can always go back to music. It's never too late. You're never too old to DJ. So I just wanted to, maybe you can see in back of me here.
Whoa.
We still, music is always going to be my favorite hobby. So, do you grow something else except, do you plant any vegetables, fruits? I'm not very good at growing tomatoes, but no, I do grow a lot of things actually, but mainly I grow, in the last couple of years I grow grapes and apples, and with the grapes we make wine and jams and things like that. Also with the I make cider with apples. We have an old style cider press, and we make cider the old-fashioned way. So yeah, so that's another thing. I've tried growing quite a few things and being a farmer, and I loved working on the land. But of course now I'm more concentrated on everything that has to do with cannabis. It's taken up my whole life, and it's my main passion. Next question: how to choose the right growth cycles for the selection of autoflowers with the further feminization of the future plants? How simple is it to get autoflower plants of the same strain? I think this question is asking, is it easy to create an autoflowering strain, to breed an autoflowering strain? Let's say if you take a normal strain, can you make it into an autoflowering strain? Is it easy? It's not very complicated, but it really takes several generations, so it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of patience, but using traditional techniques, it's quite possible for even amateur growers to create their own strains, create their own auto-flowering strains. And this is possible. I've done it. Many people have created new auto-flowering strains, and who knows, maybe some of you growers will be, create the new best strain, the new big strain. It's always next question: do you have your own school on genetics? Do you teach that? Is it possible to somehow learn the basics of genetics from you? I want to be an expert in this field. I do not have a school. I do not officially teach, but I think through this forum, through the Dzagi forum, and if we keep a dialogue going between you, the grower, and us, the seed providers, I think that in some way it is going to be like a school. We can learn from each other, create new, better strains, and so that's why we rely on you, the grower, to give us feedback. Go to the next one. Okay, for me, this is a difficult question. Number 10. What is the most impressive strain you can name? It's difficult for me, always difficult to say, this is my favorite one, this is my favorite, number one, number two. There's so many good strains out there, but I guess the most mythical strain for me that I would like to have is the Matanuska Thunderfuck. Now, this is an Alaskan strain. I think it was around in the 1970s, 1980s. It was a specific landrace from Alaska, and it had many characteristics that were like autoflowers. It was basically one of the first autoflowers, but we didn't have this word autoflowering back then. It was a new concept. But if I could find the Matanuska, I'd be very happy. So that's that. Now, next question. Is it possible to create a 100% auto sativa strain? Could it be as tall as your famous Lowryder? Well, yes and yes. It's possible to create 100%. Well, let's not say 100%, because you're always going to have a little bit of ruderalis in there. So let's say, mainly sativa strains. It's absolutely possible, and you have to basically cross autoflowering plant with sativas, and then back cross it until you get more and more sativa into this autoflowering strain. And typically auto sativa will take longer to flower, will grow taller. I mean, the one strain that we have that is mostly sativa is the original Ogre and the original Diesel Rider were also mostly sativa strains. And could it be as tall as Lowryder? Oh, it will be taller. It will be much taller. I'm sure you could create a sativa strain that will grow up to 2 meters. It will take a little longer. The more sativa you put into the strain, the taller it will get, the more it stretches. Okay, number 9 is an interesting question. Are you a relative of Alexander Pushkin? Not that I know of. It would be amazing if I could say I was the relative of one of the greatest Russian writers of all time. But it's an interesting question. I'm not sure why you're asking me that, but I'm flattered. What do you think about microgrow and bonsai techniques? Do you agree with the opinion that photoperiodic strains are preferable to grow indoors? Okay, photoperiodic strains, it's a hard word to say, photoperiodic. I say regular, let's say traditional strains, okay? Traditional strains they grow wonderfully well in the right climate. So, of course, for example, in California, you can grow any strain. You can grow any photoperiod strain under natural light, and actually is better. Natural light, in my opinion, is better than indoor light. Now, if you're talking about Canada, you're talking about Russia, we can't grow all of these strains, especially sativas, and in more northern climates, it's very hard to grow, a lot of these traditional strains. So, in that case, when you're growing indoor, yes, you get better quality. You can really get, top shelf product when you're growing under lights. Almost as good or just as good as, let's say, growing in California. Let's call it that. But so there's no preference. It depends where you are and what you want to get, how much time you have and everything. Just stay open. There's no good or bad strains. I grow regular strains, I grow autoflowering strains. They can complement each other very well. So there's no reason to just grow one or the other. It depends on your situation. So I guess I talked enough about that question. What are your tips for growing outdoor? How to deal with mold? Okay, mold. That's a good question. Mold is a problem with regular strains and autoflowering strains, but in particular, autoflowering strains can be vulnerable to mold. Not because of genetics, just because they're short, they're close to the ground. Sometimes the rain, splashes mud on the bottom of the plants, and then it's just too much humidity around the bottom, and you can get mold that way if you don't have enough air circulation, for example. So one good tip to deal with that is to put on the ground. Don't leave the ground like naked. Put a mulch, what we call a mulch. This is like tree bark or straw, anything so that when the rain comes, it's not splashing mud all over your plants. Okay, so that's one tip. Another tip is trim the little shoots and leaves from around the bottom and the middle of the plant, so you get more circulation, more air inside there. Okay, and so that's another important thing. Don't plant too early. If you're planting outdoor, if it's still cold, they won't grow very fast. It's sometimes better to wait, let's say beginning of June, and plant, and then you'll have much better growth. What else can I say? Use rich soil. They work the soil very well, deeply, if you're making holes, and a lot of fertility, because they need food as well. So next question. In the area where I plan to grow plants in summer, there are sharp temperature changes in the range from plus 46 Celsius in the daytime to plus 25 at night. Wow, that's hot. Is it possible to get a good harvest under such conditions? Okay. In my experience, growing in such high temperatures, absolutely possible. But the high temperatures will favorize very short plants, very short and stocky plants. Colder nights will encourage. It's not the cold or the heat. It's more these big differences in temperature. This will keep your plants quite short. It's possible, and the quality can be excellent because with all this heat, the plant is stressed out and is producing a lot of resin and THC. So you can get a good product, but not necessarily the best yield harvest. Okay, so all right. Next question: how long is it possible to store male pollen? I can only speak from my experience. In just if you have a pollen that you collect and it's very dry, it can stay up to a month just in normal room conditions, if you keep it dry, but not much more than a month. I think in the lab they can freeze pollen and put it in a deep freeze and keep it maybe up to a year, maybe more. But really, for me, the shelf life is quite short. So it's a question of it's really a question of timing. You can't keep pollen for a long time, unfortunately. It's maybe possible, but it's risky. Let's see. Next question. Do you plan to create medical strains? Yes, for sure. I'm working on some medical strains. I mean, medical for me means putting some CBD back in the plants, so you have THC and CBD plants. So, well, my strains, I've always been concentrated on producing strains that are easy for people to grow. So it would be natural that I would have a medical strain that people can grow themselves. And that's the goal. But the reality with medical strains, you can't see CBD with your eyes, and you can't taste CBD. So really, you have to have a good lab set up where you can, do TLC analysis and really test a lot of samples. So that's a little bit of an obstacle for me because I'm still working on fairly limited resources, but it's something I'm not going to give up on. Last question here: could you tell us about your family and kids? Sure, I love my family. I live with my wife Michelle here in Canada, and my two kids. My son is almost he's grown up now. He's 19 years old, and he's actually quite interested in this field. He's going to be working with me from now on, actually. So he's going to take an active role in this Doctor's Choice adventure that we're going through together. And my daughter is 12, of course. She's still in school, and what can I say? She's my little girl. So I can't tell you too much about your family. I can't tell you too much more about my family, but I love animals. I have a dog. My dog's name is Yoda. Alright, so now it's time for me to ask some questions to you, the grower, on Dzagi Forum. Now, I would like to get some feedback from you, and my question to you is, what is your favorite characteristic of autoflowers? Why do you grow autoflowers? Tell us a bit of your story about what is different for you about autoflowers. Why do you grow autos? And we'll be publishing some of the best answers in the near future. Okay, well, thank you very much, guys, and I look forward to talking to you soon. From me in Canada and my family, greetings to you, and we'll talk soon. All right, take care.